Metro police are working to figure out what led to a deadly shooting in Valley Station. It happened just after midnight at an apartment complex on 8 Bells Lane. Officers say they found a man with gunshot wounds inside an apartment. The man died on the scene. There are no known suspects right now, so if you know anything, call 574-LMPD. Testimony in the federal retrial of former LMPD detective Brett Hankison could be wrapping up soon. Hankison is accused of depriving Breonna Taylor and her neighbors of their rights when he shot into Taylor's apartment in March of 2020.
Hankison took to a witness stand yesterday and was emotional during his testimony. He said after officers knocked down the door that night, he felt an intense boom and saw a muzzle flash, which he believed came from a rifle. Hankison described moving to the side of the apartment and hearing what he said, quote, sounded like a semi-automatic or automatic weapon in that hallway, executing everybody in my stack of officers, end quote. Retired LMPD Sergeant John Mattingly, who was shot that night, testified also, saying that he agreed with Hankison's decision given the circumstances.
You said in court just now that if you were in Brett's position, you would have done exactly what he did, knowing what he knew at that time. Is that the case?
Yes, because what he knew, what people don't know, is when I talked to him personally and said, man, why did you do this? Because I was curious too, was the fact that he said in that doorway, in his mind, when he saw the flash, when he saw the guy shoot, he thought there was an assault rifle there.
Authorities did not find an assault rifle on scene. Other officers, including Chief Paul Humphrey, have testified that they don't understand Hankison's decision to fire his gun under those circumstances. Attorneys hope to hand this case over to the jury by midweek.
Happening today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg will host his weekly update at the Kentucky African American Heritage Center downtown. He plans to discuss the city's recent mask ordinance update after getting input during community meetings. He'll also be joined by Secretary of State Michael Adams to touch on the city's Election Day preparations.
I think that educational freedom, educational choice is the civil rights of our era, and we ought to do something about it today.
Supporters of Amendment 2 rallied alongside Kentucky Senator Rand Paul in Bowling Green. Super PAC Americans for Prosperity, financed by the billionaire Koch brothers, hosted the event last night in a final push to drive home the Yes on 2 message. Kentucky voters will see that amendment on this year's ballot. Now, Amendment 2 asks if you're in favor of General Assembly providing financial support to students outside of public schools, funding private schools with tax dollars. Now, here in Louisville, a group of volunteers against Amendment 2 continue their efforts, meeting voters face to face.
They canvass neighborhoods around the city, sharing why they believe voters should vote no. WHAS11's Alex Dieter and photojournalist Levi Hammer show us their final push.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm with Showing Up for Racial Justice. I'm a volunteer.
A group of Louisville volunteers, part of Voting No on Amendment 2, Protect Our Schools campaign.
41 and 42.
Going door to door. Knocking on doors in the Camp Taylor neighborhood, urging registered voters to vote no on Amendment 2.
Public monies should be used for public schools, and public schools are so core to growing equity in our society.
Pat Allison was a JCPS teacher for 43 years.
I want to protect those schools and to keep them running and to be able to serve the students the best that they can.
She's against Amendment 2, saying protecting public funding means this.
It means having enough books. It means having enough teachers.
Teachers like Melissa Zipper.
Hi, sir.
Who wants to do her part, talking face to face with voters about Amendment 2.
Thoughts on that?
I'm voting no on that.
Okay, awesome. Can I ask you why you're voting no?
Oh, because they're taking money from the public schools. It's just not right.
Okay, as a public school teacher, I can't say I disagree with that.
And with a week until Election Day, Showing Up for Racial Justice continues to spread the word on Amendment 2 to neighbors, parents, and even future students.
See you in school in a few years, right? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Alex Dieter, WHAS11 on your side.
More than 16,000 Kentuckians have already cast their ballots, according to Secretary of State Michael Adams. A lot of those voters took advantage of in-person excused absentee voting, which started last week. Starting this Thursday, anybody will be able to vote early through November 2nd. Adams is encouraging everyone to take advantage of the early option.
We've got 4 days of voting. In our last presidential, we had 3 weeks of voting, and we had the highest turnout in our history. I think our turnout's going to be higher this time, but we need space for people to vote. If everyone shows up the last day because they procrastinate, we're going to have long lines and some hot tempers on Election Day.
To find an early voting location near you, check out our voter guide in the free WHAS11 app or at WHAS11.com.
And of course, on election night, we will be right here on air and online as those results trickle in. First results will begin rolling in around 6 o'clock, and then at 7, we're going to start streaming on WHAS 11 Plus and the WHAS 11 YouTube channel. Then at 11, we'll be right here with the WHAS 11 night team, and we'll recap it all, of course, the next morning right here on GMK.
This morning, Baptist Health Hardin will hold a ribbon cutting for its brand new medical pavilion. It's in Elizabethtown on Cardinal Drive, directly behind the hospital. The facility will house a new comprehensive cancer care center, 12 surgical suites, and an operating room, plus patient-centered spaces to enhance emotional well-being. A celebration is set for 10 this morning.